Hello ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a special ARK video today. No rubbish, no clickbait. There is a chance some of these mods could come to console. Now in the past, I've said no, this is all rubbish because Wildcard have just been a bit crap at getting some of these mods made into official. They've had plenty of competitions in the past and we have seen some of them arrive like Valguero, and that took around 10 months from the time it won all the way up until it actually got released, or 9 months. But this is the next round, this is the big competition they're going to win. The mod contest winners have only got around 36 hours to enter their mods in before it closes, and then Wildcard will choose out of these mods which ones they go through to the next round. Now this time it's a bit different, they're having two categories. One category for just mods that add different style creatures, revamps to creatures, decorative stuff or improvements to the mechanics of the game. And they've also got one just for maps. This is because last year lots of people complained that actually they did a public vote and we all thought the public vote would decide what mod would come, but Wildcard ended up doing their own evaluation about how technical it would be to get the mod on a console or to be made into an official mod that was workable with all their other stuff. So Valguero did win the modding competition, but the votes, people that voted, the public, they actually voted for, I think it was one of the creature mods. So it seemed a little bit odd and a little bit weird. So they've split it up into two categories, like I said. They've got maps and then they've got these mods. So we're going to take a look at these mods in a minute. These are what I'm really excited for. Stuff that changes the game, changes creatures, or adds new mechanics to it. But let's take a brief, quick look at some of the maps. I'm going to let you guys know when you guys can vote because they have changed it again. Like I said, Wildcard are going to choose the ones that they think are the most viable. And then we get to vote on the actual winner, and the vote will be the winner. We will decide what mod could potentially come to console. It doesn't mean it's a guarantee because nothing's ever certain, and we all know ARK and Wildcard with their promises can sometimes be a bit of a letdown. We all know what happened to Survival of the Fittest and Primal Survival. They were cancelled. But I have to give Wildcard credit. They got Valguero out. It's coming to Xbox and PS4. So hopefully this is the best chance we're going to see one of these mods come to console in the future. If you've played on any of these maps on PC, please let me know. Of course they are available right now, but by winning this, the winners can get $10,000 or second prize of $5,000 or third prize of $2,500, and of course a chance, it's not a guarantee, a chance that could be made into an official mod in the future. So at the moment there are 11 maps. Some of these I've seen around for a while, some of them are brand new to me that I've never heard of. Olympus is probably the one that's been in there the longest, it's probably been part of the sponsored mod program at one point as well. This is one of the maps I've actually played a good while ago, in fact over a year and a half ago now. Olympus has been around that long. It needed a lot of work but there was lots of good ruins. It had a big mountain top where of course it had Olympus style ruins, basically saying it's like the home of the gods. Particularly lots of different types of biomes that you'd expect, redwood, etc. But obviously that was a long time. I'll definitely have to jump in now and see what's going on with it. From what it's saying now, the blurb, it's going to have all the DLCs, where we know that Wildcard won't allow that since they've nerfed a lot of the content that Valguero had. All 3 bosses from the island with the Manticore on the way soon, as well as 2 map specific sub bosses. Antarctica is the next one. It looks like it's a great big snowy one. 80% of the map will be snow and ice. This one has all dinosaurs from all DLC except Titans, 3 boss arenas available and more to come. See, that doesn't look too bad considering obviously it said 80% is cold ice. You'd expect it to look a little bit like Norway or Sweden. Yeah, it looks pretty cool enough. I do worry though that a map that has got so much cold and snow and ice in it, lots of players maybe would be put off. I like the Northern Lights effect. That's been used quite a few times now. I think Valguero's got that as well. You can see here there's an A on it as well, which looks a bit cheesy. There's definitely some really pretty spots, and this is this guy's first attempt at doing something like this, I do believe. Now we have the Chasm, and this is actually being made by someone who helped work on the Valguero map. But this is their own creation, this is their own map they're making now. So if you like what they've done on Valguero, I do believe they have worked a lot on that part, the Aberration part on Valguero. And if you love Aberration, you are going to love this map. It'd be interesting if you can spend a bit more time on the surface than the normal Aberration map and how he's combining it all. And he is adding his own unique creatures like a fertile golem, a bioluminescence golem, and a surface golem. This is the map at the moment. Again, it's quite unusual, but aberration is quite unusual too. He's yet to add some of these new biome areas yet, but he does want to keep adding artifact caves, and there is going to be other caverns that maybe take stuff from the other DLC like Scorched Earth. Boss arenas, as you would expect, a big 3 of them. Next up is the Valley, which is almost completely done. The guy is just working on the hot boss fights and obviously fixing stuff, but it is completely playable in his words. His focus is on making this a boss map, so it's going to have shared map bosses like Extinction, but progressing from mid-game tier bosses to insanely hard encounters. This arc is set in a valley between mountains. It's a cold place with several distinct unique biomes. The map is about the same size or a bit smaller than the island. He really does want the bosses to be different. He wants the mid-tier bosses to be completed with maybe just a good few mounts. The medium ones are going to be done with Rexes, and then the hard will need sort of no dino restrictions, so you could bring any dinosaurs in. Next one up is Tenos, and I love it when I've got a trader. It means less work for me. So you can see it's got some good shapes to it. It looks a little bit like a mix of like the Islands and Ragnarok maybe. Looks like this one may need a little bit more extra cooking or a bit more experience making it. But for sure, I actually like the fact his trader looks a little bit more better quality produced than some of the others I've seen. One thing I didn't get from Extinction was we didn't have any lava. What happened to the lava filled area that we thought we was going to see? That's pretty interesting. I like that idea. It's a nice little feature. Now this one doesn't have any pictures. Obviously there are pictures we can go and look at actually on the Steam page. But like I said, if you're doing anything like this, just a FYI, make sure you put trailers and pictures up on the competition page. It's a definitely unique one. It's something a little bit out there. It looks like you can travel to these. It's almost like a cluster map. So each section of this is an actual map you can travel or visit. He's done all the basic terrains for the domes. He wants to be able to make transportation system between them. He says it can be used as a cluster server map add-on to store all your tribe's most important belongings away from all the dangers of the other arcs. So yeah, a bit interesting. I like the concept. I like some of the design stuff he's got going on here. How it works in terms of being a storage map for big tribes, I'm not too sure. If other players can't get to this, it makes PvP and the need to have it a little bit redundant. So as long as other players can come and attack some of these spots or make it so that you attack one spot and you have access to these afterwards, that could work for PvP. So a really unique concept. I definitely think that one needs a lot more time to dive into. But Dome 1 is a small tropical island. Dome 2 is mostly barren surface with craters. Number 3 is a deep jungle. Number 4 is a magical large forest. Number 5 is an ice desert. And he's working on the 6th one. So yeah, unique concept for sure. Might just be a little bit too far out there for some people. Next up is Caballus. The equestrian adventure is a world born out of heat. Grown from lava, cooled and hardened in the wild sea, the largest of the Cabalic islands, the still intact volcanic formed a multifaceted world of variety biomes. Now obviously this is just the map, but this is the lore and everything that surrounds it. The blue Scythians, who have the Griffin Mountains, redwood and area covered with snow. Caballus means horse in Latin. It's going to have black wilderness, so it's going to be obsidian stone biome. It's going to have lots of loot from treasures left behind by the equestrian folk. A large cave below the White Birch Mountain based on aberration with the background that they're hidden big secrets of ARK. This is the map as it is right now, so you've got different biomes. Number 1, you've got the beach. Number 2, you've got the steeps, maybe based a little bit on like the Ragnarok one. Number 3 is the Griffin Mountain. 4, the White Mountain. 5, Old Chestnut Mountains. 6, White Birch Mountains. He wants to add more biomes like snow, redwood, blackwood and a volcano with a wyvern trench. A huge ocean world, big caves with treasure and artifact, bosses, and a bigger aberration themed cave under the White Birch Mountains. So here's just a little snippet from the trailer that they've made. And you can see there's some nice little features. Quite reminiscent of just like normal sort of island and Ragnarok. I like that area though, the waterfall coming through like a tropical area instead of just being cold and snowy, which we find a lot. Do like these statues they've added. These must be custom made stuff they've done themselves. Next up is Talimar Lila, which is basically a island sort of Ragnarok crossover. You can see some sort of very unique ruins. Maybe a little bit too square, but I guess that would have been like a proper big square castle. Some interesting points. I like the statues they've got going on. underwater wreckage and ruins. And it does look like he's trying to add his own underground caves. Next up is Catania, and this one's got a lot of jungle, forest and swamp in it at the moment. He's going to be adding more vegetation to the beach. Caves connected are going to be an aeration cave as well. So this is the swamp. I quite like the look of this swamp. It looks a little bit less, like, it looks a bit more interesting than some of the other swamps we've seen. Nothing really grabbing me at the moment though. It just looks like it's a pretty sort of island Ragnarok style map. Hope's going to have all the boss fights. So you've got the Broodmother, the Megapithecus, the Dragon, Rockwell, the Overseer as well, which is pretty unique, and the Manticore. I could see that being a problem with Wildcard having the Overseer. It looks like they only ever want their island map to have that boss fight. Custom Vulture, so that's a rideable Vulture. That would be pretty cool. That's the map as it is. Okay, it's a bit interesting. Looks a little bit like Centre-like with lots of water in between the islands. Just FYI for future, if anyone's entering competitions like this, absolutely make sure you get the best people you can to work on your trailers, and make sure you get a rig that can actually record the trailers in really good definition. It does help if you're making it sell to people. You want people to see your map in all its glory rather than just some screenshots. Yeah, lots of things there. I like the custom made treasure boxes. Okay, and the last one, Faith Unofficial Island TLC. Now this one's been one that's really interesting to me. They've basically redone the island. This has got an original story that with Earth actually falling apart because of everything that went on, you actually had to go back to the island, but it started changing. It maybe had the extinction creatures on it, Dead Island started changing. So it definitely had lots of the corrupted creatures running around. There's element on this map now. So it is maybe like the island shape, but vastly different biomes with aberration stuff and extinction stuff going on. I like the idea of that. I like the idea of having something like we already have, but they're mixing it up and changing it so much that it's almost unrecognisable. So there we go. That is all the maps, guys. Some of these are definitely going to have problems because they won't be able to have all the DLC creatures, although they may be able to have quite a lot more by the time they actually get finished next year. By then, I'm sure ARK is going to launch a brand new DLC, so maybe they won't mind, just like Valguero's got aberration creatures. Maybe they will get away with having some creatures from Extinction on this next map. Personally, out of all of these, it does look like Olympus is the more fleshed out, or it's been worked on the longest. The weirdest idea is definitely that archive one. And I like the idea of returning to the island TLC, or a big change on the island, mixing it all up. That sounds pretty cool. Some of these other maps are definitely a little bit too early for me, but I'm sure by the next time the next competition rolls out, they'll be able to enter and they'll have much more of a good chance of winning. So which one's going to win out of all this lot? I'm going to say Olympus is probably going to be the winner. I just think people are going to recognise it more because it's been around longer. But you guys let me know which one takes your fancy. And now on to the one that really excites me. I really am kind of just done with new maps. They're great, they're lovely, they can be fantastic, but unless they really offer something truly different or exceptional, I want one of these mods to be implemented. I don't care what one it is. Well, I kind of do, but I just want something new, some new way to play the game, some new mechanic. That's what ARK needs right now. It's a new mechanic, it's a new way to view the creatures, it's a new way to tame them, or even just something as simple as a decorative item. That's what ARK needs now. It doesn't need any more maps. Now, there's a few here, ranging from stuff like just small stack mods that stack stuff better and make it available to transfer across to other maps easier, to huge dinosaur mods that you've seen some of the biggest tubers play, like ARK Parados. They all have elemental tiers and have special tiers. These are some of the mods that I desperately want to see come to ARK more. You guys, I'm sure have seen Pugnacious as well. That's another variation where creatures are different, they've got different abilities. Wildcard just don't seem to like these. They generally rate these as hard or technical challenges, and I can see why. You wouldn't necessarily be able to have these on huge networks. But even if it was only a single player mode, or something you only had for rentable or private servers, I still think would be amazing. Elemental ARK I've played with before, that's pretty cool. And I'm sure you've seen stuff from like the Gaia mod as well. Lots of YouTubers have been covering this sort of stuff, including Froggy Man, who's a pretty cool dude. But then again, there's also room for other game modes, like I was saying, stuff that mixes up how you play the game. Imagine an arena mode, so like a horde style mode in ARK. This looks like what they've done with the ARK Arena. Fighting in a deathmatch 1v1, so that would be the real fix a lot of people like from PvP, but don't want to put thousands of hours into the game to see it all disappear quickly. Deathmatch free for all. It looks a bit basic, but given the funding and given a little bit of impetus, something like this could go down really well. Look at Mech Wars, that's pretty cool too. I'm sure something like this mod wouldn't be that hard to implement for consoles. Even capture the artifacts, which looks like it's a bigger game mode. If these maps or these little arenas had a little bit more fleshed out, a little bit more foliage and a little bit more obstacles, it could be a really cool game mode to try. There are some smaller ones that are really maybe just a little bit too similar to what we've already got, or just don't really take the mod, what I consider a mod for consoles, to open it up more. Like Behemoth Plus, it looks like it's just a bigger version of Walls. Do we really need that as a fully fledged mod? Then again, human NPCs is something that lots of people have asked for time and time again. Various times when it was Bush NPC people, I don't know if it's the same mod, it's probably a different one. That could be interesting again, even if it is only single player that you can have the mod enabled. And even if it ended up being just a decor mod, I would love one of these to be into the actual competition and win it. It'd be so cool to get some more features. Maybe some of them take it a little bit too far, but it does mix up the game, and that's what mods should do. They should really mix and change the way you play it, or add something really of value to it. And having a mod like this is crazy, but it's kind of fun. It's silly. Imagine having this in your base, getting raided. Or how about having a mod that you can tame all the creatures that you can't normally tame, like Seekers, like Deathworms. These are the mods that really got me excited. These are the ones that I would love to see just one of them, any of them mostly, put into the game. Like this Dino Hybrid mod that my good buddy Frosonis is showing off. He's done a showcase on this. That looks damn pretty cool. Mixing up different DNA from different dinosaurs. That is exceptionally a good idea. So the contest is going to close in the next 36 hours or so. Then the wildcard devs are going to choose which ones are the most viable in a preliminary round. They'll basically weed out the ones that just need a lot more work or really haven't got much more of a core idea on it. They'll show us the spotlights. That's going to be on the 15th of the 7th, so next month, with the finalisation or the winners announced on the 31st. So when do we get to vote? Well, we get to vote on the finalists once they've all established. The final winners will be completely determined by you, players and fellow mod authors. Let me know which of these mods you'd like to see implemented first, and I'm going to keep you guys up to date. When these spotlights are out, I'm going to do my own little version. We'll take a little look together, probably live streaming them, and I'll keep you up to date when you guys can actually vote for what mod you might want to see come to console. I am JADE-PG. I give you everything you need to know about Ark Survival Evolved when it's actually happening. Don't forget to like the video and make sure you go and check out the website right now. Links will be in the description box down below. Until next time, rat bags, laters.